let's get big. There we go. Now we're in the stream. Good morning, everyone. This is John Craig, and you are listening to the Monday edition of Let Us Reason Together. I'm glad that you're here this morning with us today, and we would love for you to take this program and share it far and wide. Send it over to put it on your social media, to your Facebook page, wherever it is. Get people interested in what's going on here at MessianicLambRadio.com and YouTube and Facebook. Let people know what's going on and let them be encouraged in this community of believers in Yeshua the Messiah, connected all the way back to the Hebraic roots of our faith from Genesis and all the way up to and through Revelation. You know, that's what we believe, and that's we're going to stick to it. That's the word, and that's what we're sticking to. That's the word for the day. Okay, whatever that was. All right, so I am your second day of the week host, and it's based off of, or this show is based off Isaiah 1:18, which is, "Come now and let us reason together, says Yahweh, though your sins are as scarlet, they will be as white as snow. Though they are red like crimson, they will be like wool." This is where we sit down and reason out current events, cultural shifts. By the way, we got some stuff you want to be paying attention today because of the news items that I am bringing to the table. So stick with us, as well as the Torah Portion, half Torah Portion, Brit Hadashah, whatever we're bringing and putting on the table. But with all that said, we can either push back or push through. Nevertheless, if iron does not sharpen iron, sparks will never fly, let alone ever get a fire going. So without a little heat and a good midrash, how will our hearts ever get soft and moldable enough to be transformed in the way that the Spirit, the Ruach, wants us to be, and maybe have a little fun along the way? I like having some fun. So I want to introduce on this Monday, November 4th, 2019, the 6th day of the 8th month, and some call it the month of Cheshvan, in the Hebrew year 5780. I want to introduce my co-host today, because I want them to be part of all of the weirdness that we do right before all of the serious stuff. Right? So, right, giving me the eye, giving me that look, the wife look, is my beautiful bride, Miss Sandi Craig.
Hello.
It's good to have you with me this morning.
Did I have a choice?
No. I'm so glad that you're with me this morning.
Glad to be here.
And Sasha was with you for just a second.
It's because I moved. She was chilling, and
well, we had a cat chase earlier going on in the house.
Hopefully this show will not have more cat issues. We'll see.
So, and then I also have joining Sandi and I from the great state of North Carolina, transplanted from Kansas, transplanted from Oklahoma.
I think it's Kansas, then Oklahoma.
It was Kansas, Oklahoma,
well, let's
Kansas.
Ask the man himself.
Kansas, Oklahoma, Kansas, North Carolina.
Who is
like
it?
That.
Who are we talking about?
It is the illustrious Mark David Smith. Good morning, Mark.
Yo.
I needed like an echo in my voice when I did that, but
Yo.
I think he's doing his ZZ Top impression.
Very cool.
Yeah, I heard cheap sunglasses yesterday, so
cheap sunglasses. Well, that's
I wear my
no. Totally different song, totally different band.
I know that. That's your sunglasses, and you said something. So that's what popped in my
Let's all
head.
sing it. I wear my sunglasses at night so I can. Yeah. Okay.
Why did you join us?
I don't know that song.
You're kidding.
I would be singing some different melody harmony again at the same time. And people really get confused now. Like, what is this show?
I don't even know ZZ Top songs.
As soon as you brought me on, they were saying, "What is this
show?" Well, we got and Joe Cameron is now joining us in the chat room. Good morning, Joe Cameron in the chat room, and she says one of the Blues Brothers.
Mm-hmm.
I had the Blues Brothers album. I watched that movie like multiple times when I was
never
a kid.
Never seen it.
That was like cool. That was just like awesome.
They were my older brothers. They wouldn't let me come on stage with them. So, I sat there in the front and went like this, and I looked too much like ZZ Top at that time anyway. So it was like, it didn't fit into, I had this beard when I was 12 years old, so
Yeah.
So I have a question. Why do you have a different last name than John Belushi and Dan Aykroyd?
why do I have a different last name than two other people that also have different last names than each other?
Oh, there you go.
Is that your question? I'm sorry. I
don't get that. They're the brothers.
Remember what you taught me like about 2 months ago or maybe 5 months ago about, are they also the Doobie Brothers?
The Doobie Brothers? I don't know.
But I said, who is that? And you tell me what Doobie was.
Okay. You found out what Doobie meant.
You told me that.
I had to educate my wife on what a Doobie was.
Mm-hmm.
She's like, oh, is that what that is?
Whatever.
Yeah, it's a part of a dance when you knock your knees together. That's doing the doobie.
Can you demonstrate?
Doing the doobie, and that's what it was. Their songs were all about dance, see, and knocking their knees together. So that's why they called themselves the Doobie Brothers.
I don't think that's right, Mark.
That's what my mom told me.
That's not right.
Come on, are you doubting my mom, John Craig? Dude,
your mom is always right, but
Sandi has been awful smiley this morning, and I think I know why.
Why?
I think it's because she realizes that her hair is slightly longer than mine.
Oh, that's it.
We need to get together so we can, slap them together and see.
They'll be tangled. It'll be a tangled mess.
We can put them together and find out whose is longer. I think mine is longer, but she always thinks she says, "Oh, I cut 5 inches off my hair and it's still longer than yours."
I never said that, but I did say I cut 5 inches off my hair.
Oh, it's all part of when you say something like that, it's kind of all
implied. Oh.
Between the lines, right?
Oh, okay.
Right. We work together long enough that I can read what you say. So
that is actually probably true.
All right. So if y'all like what you hear on Let Us Reason Together, y'all give us a thumbs up. See the things that I get to put up with as the host of this show.
Usually you don't let us come in yet, so we don't get to take over the commentary.
Right. Hey, so let's talk about some weird and quirky celebrations going on today.
I'm really the only the understudy. I'm not part of this show. I'm part of the next chapter, and really I'm kind of just a guest there too. I mean, I don't really
why
follow you anywhere. So
that is not true. But you told me for the next chapter you wanted to be titled guest.
Yeah, you listen to me too.
Just following my boss's orders.
Today, Mark, you're promoted. You're a co-host.
We'll get some more people in here. We'll find some other people. Before you get started with your little spiel stuff, I want to share something. I think you guys will get a kick out of this. Only producers of show on Lamb Radio will actually get a kick out of this. But I'm also filling in on the Chameleon Show on Tuesdays. And this is the beginning of how Alan started his show last Tuesday. So hold on just a second. Let me do this again. I want to be sure this. Yeah, I forget this. So you're going to get a kick out of this. This is how Alan started his show last week. Can't hear it. Can you hear it?
Oh no.
I don't know why we can't hear it, but because the sound is there. You noticing anything? He couldn't find his intro.
I used Abigail's and
There's
oh, he used everybody.
the fourth wrong one.
Look at his eyes.
Finally, he finds it. Hey, all right. I love it.
That's
I can totally relate.
He texted me that night and says, I just went back and checked out the show this morning. He says, I am such a brat.
So those of you that are listening right now and you are you're not seeing this, you'll need to go to the YouTube and go back and look at what Mark just showed us, because that was hilarious.
Yeah. It's hilarious, especially us that produce shows and have to play our own intros, you know.
Yeah, there we go.
That's why I have a producer.
I love it. All right, sorry to interrupt, man, but I thought we'd get a good fun laugh.
We did. That was good. That was good. How about these weird and quirky celebrations today? So, guess what today is?
What day?
It's Housewife Day. Wait a minute. Is that politically correct?
Oh,
Oh.
might have been 15 years ago.
Yeah, but that's why it's weird and quirky. That's why it's weird and quirky. How about this National Literacy Day? So now we can learn to read. Very important. I don't get this next one. It's Gentle Ear Biting Day.
Did you want
Go
to
ahead, Sandy, and let us see how that works.
Nah.
Okay.
Even the cat's looking at me weird that way. Yeah.
So, John, get close to the screen. Get close over to this side. Yeah.
Okay. Turn it. Ow!
Oh, okay, that's over with. Let's move right along. How about it's the day to start from scratch?
Start from.
Okay, we're starting. Can I? Okay. Oh, I got to get this screen. It's weird the way these cameras work.
Y'all are so weird.
And it is National Pet Food Cooking Day.
Can you get your raccoons over here and talk to them and see how they?
National Pet Food Cooking Day.
You should be doing that after what I've heard about pet food.
Pet food.
Pet food.
But John won't listen to me on this. John and I disagree.
Might probably be cheaper. Do you think it'd be cheaper?
No.
It'd be more expensive.
Or probably equal because we buy good food. But you should not feed your animals pet food.
Joe, this is good. Joe, what you cooking? What pet food cooking day?
Pet Food Cooking Day. Yeah. So do a week's worth of cooking, just, the chicken, the turkey, the beef, all of that stuff. Just pack it away in nice little containers for the week, I guess. Is that how they do it?
I don't know. Andy cooks his animals food now after he learned what's in animal food that you buy at the store.
You can put lentils in there and all sorts of stuff.
Okay.
Okay. All right.
Enough of that.
Moving right along. Okay. How about this? It's National what? Really? It's National Waiting for the Barbarians Day.
Send in the barbarians.
Waiting for the
I
barbarians?
think we're going to be waiting for a while.
I don't want barbarians to come in. Oh my goodness. Think about that. Reminds me of we were listening to some Steve Quayle stuff yesterday and how they're moving giants' bones everywhere and then reanimation and all over. Anyway,
for the reanimation of giants' bones.
So they'll be all over the world.
I can just imagine here in the next couple of weeks. What was that I hear? Gotta go. The barbarians are here.
Yeah, we don't want barbarians.
All right, that's right. How about this? Let's use our common sense day. It's use your common sense day. Use your common sense. Common sense.
We're glad we got a day for that.
Yeah,
and
can we let Congress know
unless we have a specific day for that. So
I think Beto finally got it.
All day, the whole
don't
day.
even say the name. I think we need to use his real name, not his
Robert Francis
O'Rourke.
O'Rourke.
That's his real name, folks.
Yeah, and So he got some common sense and he's out. He's gone.
Is he?
Oh,
Cha-cha.
Is he for real?
Goodbye. He's gone.
Okay, now can we get the rest of the Democratic Party out?
Has anybody gotten the message to HRC? Need to get that.
What
out.
about Pelosi?
She maybe needs to get the message. Common sense. How about this? This next one: Drowsy Driving Prevention Week. Drowsy Driving Prevention Week. Everybody needs to know not to drive drowsy.
They only do that 1 week out of the year.
Yep.
That
And then
should
next
be
week
a
we
year.
I'm
What?
staring at you.
That should be a year-long campaign.
It should be. It should be.
All right. Good.
Yes.
Well, you got to start somewhere.
Got to start somewhere.
They're
Exactly.
starting from scratch. See, they're applying this day to another day, and they're starting from scratch. So
There we go.
1
Yeah.
week.
Yeah. Don't stay up all night making your pet food. Just
And biting people's ears.
and biting people's ears.
I love it. I love it. You remember, Sandy? You remember when I used to give 3 words and somebody had to figure out the definition, or the definition they had to figure out the word, and that. Then I took all 3 words and made a sentence out of it.
I love that.
I know. John, you need to, when you do this, at the end, take all the different stories and make a story out of it.
All right. Okay. Does it need to make sense?
Do it, man. You can do it. I know it. Or send them to me and I'll make one. And
All right. Okay.
I love it.
All right. And it's also, I had to put it in there because it's the beginning of November and it's the first opportunity I've been able to get this news out. It's No Shave November. So ladies, it's okay.
We don't have to shave.
You don't have to shave.
Oh. Mark is stroking his
But I think it's
You're
usually it's intended for the men, like, beard.
Well, do you remember our young adults back in the early 2000s? They used to get so excited about No Shave November.
Yeah, they did.
And they would all have these sparse little tiny beards come out with little holes. They're mostly holes everywhere.
And then by the end of the month, they just had long hairs.
Couple places.
Sparsed all over.
So, John, when you started off this part of this No Shave November, you were actually talking to the women about not shaving for the month of November. That's where you were going. I just now kind of caught that. It's like,
oh man, I didn't know if anybody would catch that.
I caught it.
All right.
Going back to basics, I guess. We're yeah, okay. Well,
Oh, Tammy has a comment.
Uh,
Hi, Tammy. It's so good to see you. We've got Tammy and Joe and Desiree here with us in the room.
oh my goodness. What are you going to say?
Linda Kelly is here too.
Tammy says, man, I haven't shaved in years.
I got tired of complications. All right. Thanks.
Hey,
You go,
everybody, how
Timmy.
you doing?
Well, and others are in agreement with
Hey.
Tammy.
It's not the only one out there. So now it's sanctioned. It's the sanction month. All right.
It gives all new meaning to praise and worship at church. You know? Sorry. Sorry. Bad picture, right? I guess. Go ahead. Sorry. I'll cut that.
I've seen you shave that though.
I was just going to say that there's a time to wear long shirts and long sleeve shirts and a time not to.
Should not discriminate.
All right. Don't discriminate. All right. Okay. I'm just not going any further with this.
So is December 1st shaving day?
I don't know. I have to go forward to look. So stay tuned, or at least come back in December and we'll let you know.
Well, yeah, come back December 1st.
Oh, all right. You like this?
Yeah.
Thumbs up. All right. Share it wide and broad.
Laughter is good
Laughter's
medicine.
good. That's why we do this. It's good for us. How about the daily quotes? I changed up the quotes from my regular site and kind of
hallelujah.
found some different people that said the regular John Locke Huey guy or whatever. So I got a positive quote for the day from Norman Vincent Peale. And how about this? Change your thoughts and change your world.
I think that's true.
Change your thoughts and change your world. So, so that's good. I was going to see how that related to the days today, but I don't know. It's common sense, right?
You should just
Common
post
sense
it.
day.
You should post it in the room.
I could post it in the room. We could do that. Positive quote of the day today. Let's just copy it and paste it over here in the room. I have to talk my way through these things sometimes.
Obviously, we can tell.
All right. How about this? Funny quote of the day. This is from our most favorite humorous comedian lady in the world. I'm kidding. I don't know if she's mine or not. I don't know, but she was very popular in the day. And
I
it's
thought you were talking about me until you said lady. Most respected humorist in the world.
Yeah. So what did she say? This is Phyllis Diller. Phyllis Diller. She says, "I'm at an age when my back goes out more than I do."
That's actually funny comparatively to what you were giving us before.
Yeah. Thank you. I feel affirmed.
George Burns had the best list of age jokes, getting old jokes. And my favorite was, you're getting old when you look for something else to do while you're down tying your shoes.
I just picture George Burns. Didn't he always have like a cigar or something?
Oh, yeah. Can you imagine him sitting there and, you're getting old.
Right. How about this quote? This is
Tammy.
Love quote of the day. Love quote of the day. And I'm going to post that here. There is no love without forgiveness, and there's no forgiveness without love. You like that? That's from Bryant H. McGill.
This source is much better than your previous source. Don't go back.
Well, I actually had to draw from many sources.
Well, then do the work, because
you like it. I got affirmation again from
because what you did before was they were never positive, they weren't funny, and they weren't lovey. They were awful.
I just wanted to
just telling you the way it is.
I my wife tells me the way it is. Isn't that good? Isn't that what our wife's supposed to do to keep us on track? By the way, I was watching a YouTube the other day, and the guy was talking with his hands, but the way the cameras are on these YouTube cameras, that your hands can look like huge. Where's my hands? I can't even see they're my hands. When see how big my hands are? Whoa. I mean, it's crazy. And I was like, man,
put your head forward. Your head would be big then.
Okay.
All right.
Having a little fun. Okay. Phyllis Diller looked funny. Desiree, she did. Her
hair was all.
Yeah, she was great. She was good. She was of my time.
How about this verse of the day? This is from the Brit Hadashah, John 8:51. Truly, I say to you. It's not a lady's name. Okay. This is like, okay. Truly, I say to you, if anyone keeps my word, he will never see death. I like that. All right. So that's verse of the day. And what happened on this day in history? How about this? John Lennon. Is John Lennon one of your favorite people in music? He said this back on this day in 1963. Sandy, this is before you were born.
It was
before I was born. But I just wanted to let you know this has been around for a long time. So
what if it happened December 3rd of 1963? Then it wasn't around. It was.
Depend on what time of day it was, I guess. Okay, here we go. John Lennon utters this infamous line at a Royal Variety performance in 1963.
Hello.
Will the people in the cheaper seats clap your hands? And for the rest of you, if you'll just rattle your jewelry. And he said that in London in 1963. Yep. John Lennon was not PC at the time.
That's fact.
And I don't think he ever changed, huh? Maybe that's why they wanted to off him. I'll bet way back in 1963 they ticked him off. So
I think they ticked him off long before then. But
yeah,
Paul McCartney they both together wrote some awesome songs. But of course, Paul McCartney kept on going. Of course, we all know. I just watched again. I think like 3 times now. We've watched a video where, you guys familiar with James Corden at all? He does the late show.
Yes.
Starts like at midnight. Pretty wacky guy, but he has a thing that he likes to do where he plays like a taxi cab or something and gets well-known singers in the taxi cab, and he it's karaoke cab, I think.
Oh, I like that. Okay, yeah, now I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, and so he'll get the singers in there. The last one we watched was with I can't think of her. Oh, Celine Dion in Las Vegas, and he'll put her music on, and then they both sing to the top of their voice. And James Corden will sing, and she sings, and they drive around while they're doing this. Well, he did one with Paul McCartney in England, and it was amazing because Paul was just sitting there like just an everyday kind of guy, you know, in the front seat, and there's his music playing. He's just singing along, and James Corden singing along, and of course you can tell James Corden is beside himself. Literally, it's like I'm in the presence of the most hugest songwriter ever, and he's grinning from ear to ear. They literally they drive up to Paul McCartney's house where he grew up, and they drove up. No, I guess it's a museum now. But it's right in the middle of a regular housing project with houses all around it, same everything. They drive up, they get out, they go inside, and they're walking through, and Paul's showing them where him and John used to practice their songs and go in and play them for his dad and all that kind of stuff. Well, they're in there you can't tell because of the editing, but they walk out the front door and it's packed full of people. All you need is one person to see Paul McCartney get out of a car, and everybody calls everybody else, and it's not reporters.
Now I want to see
the people of the neighborhood, you know, and they're getting out, they're talking to Paul like, you know, he's an everyday guy, and it's pretty cool. The end of the video, they end up going into a bar that has a stage, and Paul gets up with the band that's in there, and they do some Paul McCartney songs. I mean, there was like only 5 or 6 people in this bar when Paul and James Corden walked into it. But of course, then as people started finding out and he did 2 or 3 songs, it packed out, and the outside was packed out. So it was kind of cool, really. You know,
I want to go see it now. I want to go.
Yeah, just look up. I think karaoke and Paul McCartney. Just look those 2 up or something like that. It's on YouTube. You'll see it. It's a great video if you love Paul McCartney stuff.
Oh, very cool.
All right. That's what I got to share. I'll see y'all soon.
Well, and the reason, you know, why Paul McCartney made it and John Lennon didn't? PC.
Because what? PC?
Yeah, PC. It's all about PC, political correctness.
Okay.
Paul played the game like he was supposed to, and John didn't. He was the rebel. He was the one actually. John peered through the veil. Just saying. Okay.
Just saying. And being politically correct is getting arrested for smoking pot and getting arrested for this and that. And so I guess, hey, I guess you can do all that stuff then and be politically correct.
Yeah.
So I'm giving you a hard time.
All right. Okay. Just moving right along. How about this? Now now I have a couple different things I want to share with you about other things that happened on this day in history on November 4th. And back in 1862, Dr. Richard Gatling, you know that name? Gatling?
It's a gun.
He patents the Gatling machine gun in Indianapolis. Well, why do I say that? What was going on in 1862? 1862 was the time of the Civil War, wasn't it? So,
It
talking
was.
about one of the biggest instigators in Civil War Part 2, well, he was elected on this day in 2008.
Okay. Part 2.
Did you really want to say his name?
And that is Barry Soetoro. Barry Soetoro. He became the first
Real name.
He became the first African American to be elected to president of the United States, defeating Republican candidate John McCain. He goes by, or AKA, Barack Hussein Obama.
But his real name is
Barry Soetoro.
Barry Soetoro. Didn't he come into Chicago late and became their singer for all the later stuff?
Yeah, he was like friends with Barry Manilow or something.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, there was the Barrys.
Soetoro, I know. So
right?
Really now, and he became Barack Obama, huh?
Yeah.
Oh,
Well, and it's really amazing that when you look at the picture of his father and his brother.
And where's his father from?
Kenya. That's what he says in his book.
No, where is his real father from?
When you look at the pictures, the guy that looks like his
exactly like
him is a guy from Indonesia, and his name is Subud. I have to look up his name again because I have long forgotten it. But actually, he looks a lot like it. I carried him on my phone. I said, "Now, whose father does Barack Obama looks like his real father? Is it this guy from Kenya? Or is this guy from Indonesia?" And the guy from Indonesia is a split image of Barack Obama.
And he and his mom had contact.
Yeah. Yes. Close contact. Because I think they were married or something. I don't know. They were close, very close. But how does he become African American if his father was from Indonesia? Well, that's kind of the story. Is the Somalians were all about going into Africa, and they were the ones that led a lot of the slave trade for the Muslims. And so in the course of history, they would take these slaves and they would sell them all around the world. And Indonesia was a big stop where they took slaves from Africa and they got integrated into the nation of Indonesia. It's kind of one of the interesting things. That's why Barack Hussein Obama, or also known as Barry Soetoro, has that African connection, but it's through a watered down line through Indonesia. And he does look like that leader in Indonesia back in the 1950s.
And it, as we said, it wasn't that his mother was there with him at the time. So it's not.
Yeah. So everybody says his father was Kenyan. I don't believe it at all. Not by pictures. When you look at a child and you look at their parents, you can see the likenesses. And that Obama from Kenya is not his daddy. I'm just saying. Not his daddy. Okay. All right. So going on, other things, other people that got elected today. Why did I bring that up? Because, we are right on the verge of civil.
Please go vote.
A civil war. We do have a vote tomorrow. People want to be a part of, and find out what the issues are in your area and make sure you vote. And
make sure you read the bills correctly. Because in Texas, they're trying to pass a tax in the state where if you answered no, you really answered yes. They're trying to.
Yes. So
be sure you read carefully.
Research it out. The other thing is that there was a Representative Gomert from Texas. This is not the current event, but I just letting everybody know why I'm bringing this up. Is he actually got up there on the House floor and he gave a speech and he said, in his understanding of history, what the historians have said is that the shooting war is always last. And he said, we are close to that. This is a representative in the House because that's what they're experiencing in Washington, the divisiveness that's going on and they're experiencing across the nation. We're really a divided nation more than any other time. A lot of factors going into that. But so why does the Gatling gun and Barack Obama relate? Well, is during Civil War time. And I think, in my opinion, it was Barack Obama did much to change the course of America to bring us to the point where we are greater divided among ourselves between races, between classes, between education and other things than any other time in our history. And it all took place in 8 years. Now there's a lot of stuff going up to it with multiculturalism and all that sort of stuff since the Clintons, but Barack Hussein Obama, or Barry Soetoro, was the one who actually brought it to the place where we are today. more than any other time, complicit with the mainstream media. All right, going right along. Yeah, other people elected today: James Buchanan, Grover Cleveland, Calvin Coolidge, Dwight D. Eisenhower, and Ronald Reagan. So I'm going to skip the birthdays and jump right into.
I'm writing up a bill today that I'm going to submit to my senator so that he can bring it to the House of Representatives. It's Bill H.R. 47, the incognito bill, and it will require all Americans to wear sunglasses inside and out 24/7.
Wow, that might take some difficulty to get through there, Mark.
Oh, no.
Start from scratch. I'm glad you're going to start from scratch today.
Nope.
Okay. All right. How about some? Can I be politically incorrect on this station?
Haven't you been that way already?
I can't. All right. So I'm going to be politically correct. Okay. Instead. All right. So, but I'm going to just say it as it is, and I don't want anybody to be offended. Because as you listen, you're going to be reason, oh, there's no reason to be offended. If you get offended, just get over yourselves, all right? Because I have some really funny stuff I want to share with you. And this is some wit for the day. This is our segment where we untwist our brain and some points to ponder. Sandi, it's time to laugh. You gonna laugh? Okay. I'm giving her a cue. I have to give Sandi a cue. So this is Jewish humor. Okay? Jewish humor. Now, I don't quite know the accent, so forgive me if I just make up my own accent. And so here it is. This is the top selection of clean, funny Jewish jokes. Okay? So here we go.
You found some clean ones, huh?
I did.
They're all funny, but if you find some clean ones, boy, you are.
There you go. That's right. How about this one? Number one, a car hit an elderly Jewish man. The paramedic said, "Are you comfortable?" The man said, "I make a good living."
That was a good one.
I thought it was funny. How about this one? I just got back from a pleasure trip. I took my mother-in-law to the airport. How about this one? I've been in love with the same woman for 49 years. If my wife ever finds out, she'll kill me.
See, that's not funny. That's just not funny at all. That's just that's politically incorrect right there.
That's okay. How about this? How about this one? Someone stole my credit cards, but I won't be reporting it. The thief spends less than my wife did.
Sandy's not laughing. You're required to laugh, Sandi.
That's how our granddaughter laughs.
Yeah.
It's hilarious. When she laughs, the whole room has to laugh. So
It's true. How about this one? We always hold hands. If I let go, she shops.
well, that's not true in our household.
Yeah, you're just real. Wasn't today Housewife Day?
Housewife Day.
You're losing the housewives right now.
Yeah. All right. Housewife, stay with me. Okay, please. Okay. How about this next one? I didn't write these. I'm just repeating them.
Yeah, well, you chose them. So
How about this? My wife and I went back to the hotel where we spent our wedding night. Only this time I stayed in the loo and cried. Did you go to the loo and cry on our wedding night?
No.
Okay, good. I'm glad. All right.
she called Lou instead.
The loo. All right, because this is British humor. That's why Sandy's not laughing, because this is British humor. She
called Lou instead.
Yeah.
She didn't go. She called Lou.
She was at the beauty shop for 2 hours. That was only for the estimate. She got a mud pack and looked great for 2 days. Then the mud fell off.
That's bad.
I'm telling you, man, you're down in the basement digging holes here. Good Lord.
Okay, okay. Let's skip the wife ones. Let's go on. The
Sure.
doctor gave a man 6 months to live. The man couldn't pay his bill, so the doctor gave him another 6 months.
Oh, really?
The doctor called Mrs. Cohen saying, "Mrs. Cohen, your check came back." Mrs. Cohen answered, "So did my arthritis."
That's good. That's good.
1 out of 9 so far.
That was really good.
Right. Okay.
If we all could do that, sorry, doctor.
Yeah.
Dealing
I
with this
agree.
thing, so no pay.
I agree.
So last one. All right. So you won't suffer anymore. Doctor, you'll live to be 60. Patient, I am 60. Doctor, see? What did I tell you?
Oh, hey, I got an example of the one before that. Because I battle neuropathy on the bottom of my feet, I have been to countless numbers of foot doctors, podiatrists, all kinds of people, regular doctors, trying to see what could happen because my feet ache and they swell and everything all the time. Every single foot doctor and podiatrist, as soon as you tell them what's going on, they'll tell you, there's nothing we can do for you, but here, let me give you these pills. Let me make these inserts for you. Let me do this for you, and let me do this for you, and then we'll set up another $60 appointment. But the first words out of their mouth is, there's nothing we can do for you. But let me set up another $60 appointment.
Yeah.
Do this for the next 3 months, and then come back in 3 months, and we'll see. But they're not going to work, That's the truth. As God is my witness, that's the truth. And I've been to several. The VA, a neurologist at the VA, because I have VA healthcare now, has gotten the closest of anybody in about 20 years.
Wow.
To helping my feet. Right now, they're probably in the best shape that they are, only because of that. And I don't have to pay anything because I have free VA health care. So
There you go.
So don't pay. I don't know where to go with that. It's like all that I've paid didn't do anything. Now that I don't have to pay, it's working. So I don't know where you go.
Well, that's what you call practicing medicine, Mark.
That's right. As a matter of fact, my doctor told me that just the last time I saw him a couple of weeks. He says, that's why it's called practicing medicine.
Yep.
It's practicing for them.
You're the subject and they're the practitioner.
That's right. More like the victim.
Yeah. All right. Hey, so we got some ready to go into our next segment, which is the Torah portion.
That was the long segment we just had.
It was, but we had some fun. So this is a Monday morning edition.
So
as we reason,
do you want me to rush through this then?
You can go do what you need to do.
Give me 3 minutes.
Do what you need to do.
Because you just took 45.
Well, today was special. Okay, so what do we got, Sandy?
Well, I just wanted us to barrel down into something in our own lives and just do some comparison, because in this Torah portion, what do we see? We see Abraham, and we see Yah tell him something, and we see the Tower of Babel, and we see lots of movement in that. Well, let's just go to the beginning. So what happens? Yah appeared to Abraham, and he said, man, I'm going to give you all this land that you see. I'm going to give it to your children. Now, we've all heard that. Oh, well, what's so significant about that? Well, if you or I were given a piece of land, I want to stake it out. What about you?
Yeah.
That's mine. That's mine. Well, does Abraham do that? No, he moves. And when he moves, what does he do? He goes and he builds an altar. He doesn't build a house. He builds an altar.
He's got a tent.
And then he doesn't settle. He goes and he moves again. And what does he do? He builds another altar. Okay. So we see him. He pitches a tent and he builds an altar. He doesn't a temporary dwelling. Tents are temporary dwellings, right? We've got that. Okay. And keeps moving and building altars. And so you may say, or wait, logically, why doesn't he settle down? What is so different? But I think you've got to go back and see what happens directly before all of this. And it is the Tower of Babel. And what happens there, we all know that, that the people make for themselves a tower. Yah creates this world, but we want more. We go build a tower. We erect something, which is sort of like an altar, by the way.
Yeah,
it is. The people say, let's build this city and let's build this huge tower to the sky let's make it for ourselves. Okay. So they worshiped at the altar of their own creativity. They worship at the altar of the things that they've made and built, taking credit with their own hands. Well, so what we see with Abraham doing, he is completely turning that around and saying, I'm not going to make something for myself. I am going to glorify Yah's name. I'm going to build something and dedicate it to him, to stake out this place that it's his place. And so it's completely the opposite of what he just came out of. And last week's Torah portion, some of the sages say, and this is just sages, this is not the word, this is just that Abraham actually took part in building that tower. Now, I don't know that I believe that, but there's all sorts of stuff out there. You can just research it out yourself, and which we've talked about. Yeah, those are just alternative sources.
Good luck with that.
Yeah. But what is a tower? A tower is actually, it's a monument, and this tower reaches to the heavens, and it's trying to show their own legacy. They're trying to make themselves famous. In fact, they're trying to make a name for themselves in the Tower of Babel. Let's make a name for ourselves. But we don't see that from Abraham. He builds an altar to make a name for Yah. He builds an altar, and it uses the same word for monument build. It's the same word in both places, but Abraham is trying to make the name famous for Yah. And I said that a lot during the prayer room today. Let's make Yah's name famous. So let's look at what else an altar is for. An altar is used for the service of something. What is that? It's normally worship. Well, the people at Babel did what? They worshiped themselves. They worshiped themselves, make more than anything, trying to make their own name great. Well, what does that matter? Well, today, what do? I think we have a bunch of people around. We try to make our names great. And when I'm saying that in general, everywhere you look, people want to be famous. They want to have power. They want to have influence, and they want people to know what they've done, the accomplishments they've made. And why? To lift themselves up. But are we as a people interested in actually moving and doing things to make Yah's name great and diminish ourselves? Because that's what we really see Abraham doing. He's not doing it for him and about him. Was he a perfect man? No, there has been no perfect man except Yeshua. But he was still on this journey, going from place to place, setting the precedence and making Yah's name great. Even though he has this great promises that were given to him, he's like, guess what? This whole thing's not about me. And if we remember, it was to his children the land was given to. He wasn't going to stake claim. He wasn't going to do it and take hold of what's his until Yah says it's time to take hold of what's his. But here's what we do. We still as a people walk around, believers, non-believers alike. We have the same issue. We want to make our opinion known so that we have the prestige. We want to make our name known. We want to have our teaching be the best teaching. We want to have our influence be the best influence, our house to be the best, our car to be the best. We as a people want the fame. And it's time to give the name and the notoriety to where it's due, and let us drop into the backdrop, only doing what he says, going where he goes, trusting him. And everything we do should be to glorify him. Yeah, we say that all the time, but let's look at the fruit. We as a people, even those that call themselves believers, we're still out there trying to make our name known. And it's completely opposite. We're building and erecting towers of our own making, just like Babel, in our own lives. So for all to see, so that we can achieve fame and notoriety, maybe in a small portion, maybe just in our sphere of influence. But it's time we stop and we work towards making Yah's name famous.
That's good.
Real good.
Yeah. Mark, what are your thoughts on that?
Well, I had never heard the tie of Abraham and the tower. That was really good, and it made a lot of sense. It put things together. The Bible is not a chronological document where everything is documented. It's a history book, and it's written that way where just certain things are documented within it, and it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to tie all of those things together with stories that came from here to there. And a lot of people do. A lot of people get mad when they hear stuff like what Sandi just taught. It's like, how come that's not in the Bible? Well, that's not what the Bible's about. And so I think that's really good. Now, I'm going to toot my own horn, which sounds like the exact opposite of what you just said, but it's not. It's exactly what you just said. Lamb Radio was, well, let's even go back before that. I have been in the Messianic lifestyles for about 25 years now. Matter of fact, right now it's 25 years. And through that time, I've been afforded the ability to meet a lot of different people, big name speakers, people that are, rabbis or leaders over congregations, people that are just in general, but have great research and done some great teachings of their own. And when I came up with Lamb Radio, one of my ideas for this is that I am going to create this radio station based on the fact that we are not going to add a Bill Cloud, a Brad Scott, a Monty Judah, Rico Cortez, or any of the big names that are out there that people want to come see or come hear. I'm not adding any of those people into the radio station for at least a year. At the end of the year, if the people that I bring in, which are people that I know their integrity personally, and these are the teachers we had on in the first year, were only people that I knew. If you called me or texted me or wrote me an email and I didn't know you, and they say, hey, what's it take to have a show on Lamb Radio? I would say, you can't, because I don't know you. And I can go in and listen to your teachings, but I don't know you. And so you're not going to be on Lamb Radio. After the first year, we did pretty good. For starting from scratch and going for a year, we were doing pretty good. So then I started bringing some recordings of Brad and Rico and other people in there just to highlight and to go. And it was good. But see, that's the idea behind most people. If you don't have a name, then I don't respect you. And that idea of you have to earn my respect is true, but it also goes with, for instance, if John introduced me to a real close friend of his, I would automatically have respect for your friend just because of that relationship that you have, and because I consider you a man of integrity, and you wouldn't be friends with somebody that does not have integrity. So there's a certain amount of respect that goes there, and I used it the same in Lamb Radio, and people respected that. I even got emails from people that, hey, I've never heard this guy before, but wow, he is really good, and how do I get more of his stuff, And that's what I did. So it's not, I was never, ever, ever about making Lamb Radio a name for itself, or Mark Smith to be a name for himself. Though, if you'll go to most of the named people out there that travel around and are invited to different congregations, you ask them about Mark David Smith and they'll tell you. They know me. They know my name, not because I put my name out there. It's because they know me. They have met me. They know my integrity. And so Lamb has done pretty good. Now, we don't have any big names on now. Since we switched over to video, I have not gone out there to try to get Rico or Brad to submit videos to me so that I can play them on the Lamb Network. That's not what we're about. I will not make a name. And though there's only 4 people watching this show right now, in the next few days, it'll shoot up to 30, 40, 50, 60 people because people watch the archives. They want to see this show, but not because of the name. They know the integrity behind the shows within the Lamb Network. And Sandi, I think that's what you're talking about, is that it's all about not trying to make a name for yourself or build based on that name. It's giving the glory to God and let him develop it.
And here's the deal, is you said that most people know who you are because you don't make your name famous. You let him do it.
100%.
And that's the key. There are so many people out there that there's, even famous or big speakers, even in our own, we've got to change our agenda of our lives, whether we're in a small sphere or a large sphere, and let it really be about him in everything we do, period. And it's hard because our natural tendency, our nefesh, our flesh wants to fight that. So, and do just the opposite.
I agree.
That's good. Good. That's a good portion. I don't need to say anything else on that, Sandi.
I think we
No, we need to hear from you.
The only thing that I was going to say is that Abram had it right, because, he saw Nimrod and all them trying to make a name for themselves, building a kingdom to themselves, trying to literally take over the heavenly realms, and essentially what they're doing with the Tower of Babel. But, there's Abraham, and he's like, no, we're going to reset it, or we got a reset going on here.
And he became famous because he
did the reset, and he heard the word, and he went forth where he was supposed to go, to his promised land. And so, and
it was accounted unto him for righteousness.
Yeah, exactly. That's what faith is. We hear and we do. That's it. So, cool. Well, I like that. Well, hey, I've got, I just posted the link on our article that we're going to talk about today in this current event. It's going on. There's so many things going on. I'm like, what do I talk about, Father? Well, this one is rather interesting because it ties Texas to Georgia, and really is an issue that's going on across the nation. I'm telling you, there's weird stuff involving our children going on. I'm going to go ahead and click the link here. This is from the epictimes.com. And the title of the article is Georgia Legislator Seeks to Prohibit Sex Reassignment Surgery on Minors. Well, where did that come from? Well, let me give you some of the background here. And it says a state lawmaker in Georgia wants to make it a felony for medical doctors to perform sex reassignment surgery on minor children, including, I'm going to say, way to go, Georgia.
Yeah.
So, including vasectomy, castration, mastectomy, and other varieties of genital mutilation, and forbid the prescription of puberty-blocking drugs and cross-sex hormone therapy in such cases.
Every doctor be doing that?
Yes. I mean, think about this. This is America in 2019. This stuff is going on around the world in the Western countries, because for some reason, people think that there has to be some 62, 700, 500, whatever
27
genders out there. And people are so confused. They're raising our kids in this completely chaotic
male
world
and female. That's it.
So this came out of what happened here in Texas, where the legislative in Georgia proposal comes as a sequel to a highly publicized legal battle in Texas over James Younger, a 7-year-old boy whose mother claims he identifies as a girl and prefers being called Luna. Well, why does he prefer to be called Luna, Mom? It makes me upset thinking about it. While the mother wants James to begin hormone replacement therapy at age 7, the father objects and sought to obtain sole custody of his boy and his twin brother. A judge awarded the father and mother joint custody on October 24th. Let me give you the background on what was going on here. The judge in Texas, and this is where we the people have the power actually to go and change the judge's opinion. The judge in Texas was going to give full custodial rights to mom, who, since age 3, this little boy, because of mom's influence, identified as a girl. Now, 4 years later, the mom says, well, you identify as a girl. I dress you as a girl. You think you're a girl. So let's do the hormonal therapy and surgery, and let's just make you a girl.
Mom, she's
Dad put his foot down, went to the court. The court was siding on the side of mom. Well, the father, someone in the InfoWars community, let InfoWars know. They brought the father on the Alex Jones show and on the War Room is the show there on InfoWars. And he gave his testimony about what was going on. The people in the state of Texas rose up, started calling. They started calling around. They were calling all the way up to the governor. The governor actually got a hold of this, so much to the point that the judge stopped his opinion. And one report I said he's basically disappeared. The judge disappeared. But the people rose up, and the order from the judge was stopped. It was reversed. Now this boy, there's a hold because now dad has a say on how his son is going to be raised, whereas he did not have that choice before then. And that's what this whole awarding joint custody with the mother on October 24th was all about. In Georgia, the state representative Jenny Earhart, a Republican, and her legislation would protect children from being subjected to irreversible procedures when they are young that would have no effect on physicians working with adults who seek a sex change. Georgia law currently allows minors to receive surgery and prescription medication if a parent consents. We're talking about children that can't get a tattoo or smoke a cigar or a cigarette in the state of Georgia, but can be castrated and get sterilized, she said. The removal of otherwise healthy or non-diseased body parts from minor children would be prohibited. Way to go, Ms. Earhart. Earhart said the final language in the bill, which is still being drafted, may punish parents for permitting a child to undergo a gender transition. Now, Now, biologically and psychologically, what happens when a child goes through a sex change type of procedure is that they have all sorts of medical complications later in life, as well as they are more prone to suicide as a result of the reassignment surgery. So going forward, it says that the legislation sounds like a great model for national legislation to protect young children who are being brainwashed by the LGBT lobby into believing themselves to be a different gender. And it's time to stop pretending that young children are mature enough to or capable of making such life-altering decisions that they are bound to regret later in life and will be unable to reverse. So that's what this article is kind of talking about. There's some other things and talking about how the complications, like, for example, when a male tries to become a female, takes the hormones for women to become a female, which is impossible. They're more likely to have breast cancer. There's all sorts of different complications that go with it. Horrible, horrible things. So I want to just kind of throw it out there on the table for you guys and, get your thoughts about what is really happening with this and what can we do as a community. Sandi, do you have some thoughts?
Well, first, it's idiocy, and we need to stop. We need to get our kids out of this. Seems impossible, but as long as our kids are being brainwashed in these government schools, this is going to be promoted forward, and it's going to be urged. In fact, anything against God's word will be lifted up and taught, which includes confusing them. Are they, since the evolution thing isn't working anymore, are you an ape or whatever? Let's make it so you don't, there's 127 sexes or 62 sexes and you won't know which one you are. Well, let me tell you folks, just look in your pants. You'll figure it out. And the way you were born. But these kids are going to be in confusion and brought there. As long as we as parents stand by idly, let them be in the public school system, not let the public school system teach and retrain and brainwash our kids. And then in our society and our television, what are your kids watching? What are they playing? What are they doing? And we expect a different result. We need to be protecting our children, and we need to be, as it took Texans rising up to change this judges that are liberal like that need to be removed. But also, people, call your senators, call your congressmen, get involved politically, stop the insanity, get on your face and pray. Start making kids a part of your Torah studies. There's so many things. The kids are just the leftovers sitting on the ground beside, not taken apart. Make them a part. It's the same Holy Spirit in them. Teach them the word just as diligently as you discuss the word yourself. There are so many things we can do, but yet we don't do because it takes effort, it takes time, and it takes the attention away from whatever we want to put our attention on. It's going to take work, folks, but we need to do it.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. Mark, what are your thoughts on this? Crazy, crazy world.
Here's my thoughts. Proverbs 22:6 says, train up a child in the way he should go, and even when old, he will not swerve from it. That's good, but I mean, somebody outside the Bible could say, well, I'm doing what the mother wanted me to do. The mother is training up the child the way she wants him to go. But let's read the rest of Proverbs 22. Rather than wealth, choose a good reputation, esteem over silver and gold. Rich and poor have this in common. Adonai made them both. The clever see trouble coming and hide. The simple go on and pay the penalty. The reward for humility is fear of Adonai. Along with wealth, honor, and life, thorns and snares beset the way of the stubborn. He who values his life keeps his distance from them. Train up a child in the way he should go, and even when old, he will not swerve from it. The rich rule the poor, and the borrower is slave to the lender. So on and so forth. But you hear the general concept of Proverbs 22 is to serve Adonai, serve God, and do the things that God says to do. Train up a child in these things, and it will not depart from him. Well, all these different things, and you're talking about elective surgery. You're not talking about needed surgery, something that's actually wrong, and you go in and you do the surgery to correct it. The correction, there is no correction because God has built this child perfectly. There's nothing wrong with this child. He doesn't need surgery. It's elective surgery, which is wrong. And from what I understand, this is what I understand, it's my opinion, that doctors are not supposed to do something or give surgery to someone that's not needed. I mean, yes, you can do elective surgery, and the laws have passed where you can get facelifts and all that kind of stuff, and that's not needed, but it's elective surgery. This is just something that is totally out of that and is a part of lawlessness. It is wrong. That's
I think
the way I look at it.
It's interesting that back 10, 20 years ago, when somebody wanted to do a sex change operation in adult, they had to go through counseling, years of counseling and all of that. And now, oh, you're a kid. And what's this mother doing, dressing her kid up as a girl in the first place? What's she doing? What demonic spirits is she inviting? And Anyway, she needs to be, that's child abuse.
It is child abuse. It's exactly what that is. It's child abuse because that child's being raised in such confusion. There was one testimony that a man gave about how his parents had raised, his mother had raised him that way. And he is now an adult male. And he identifies as a male. I'm going to, let's use that language because I'm making fun of it. He is a male. That's what it is. That's what his genes say. He's got a Y chromosome. And he is battling now all the psychological trauma of all of the confusion-based stuff that came from his childhood because of what his parents did. Because they were trying, that mother was trying to make him into a girl. And that's what he believed he was until at some point in time, the light dawned. And then the whole transition just to get right again, to get real again, to be the way he's supposed to be, has been very, very difficult. And this type of stuff actually goes along with all the other great big forward push that's been going on in our nation that has to do with the drag queen story times, the new sex education that's being pushed in Austin, Texas. That's a whole nother article. Maybe we'll have to do it another time. There's some information over at naturalnews.com, 25 things that Mike Adams lists will happen when the Democrats, if the Democrats take over power. It's very interesting. I recommend that article. But nevertheless, here's something here that Earhart in the legislative initiative was actually addressing it. And it comes after the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services unveiled a rule in May to reverse an Obama-era regulation that defined the word sex to include the fuzzier concept of gender identity. Although many people use the words sex and gender interchangeably in everyday conversation, gender is a politically and scientifically contentious concept whose definition isn't universally agreed upon. So Earhart is actually going in to define and actually reverse what the Obama era had done and had set forth in the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, defining that sex is based on your biology. And way to go. That's all I can say. Way to go, Georgia. And I pray that it gets traction in Georgia, that it passes in Georgia, and states across this nation actually pay attention to what's going on there and fall into suit, because we need this. We need to protect those children that are out there. And
that she said she used the word fuzzier to describe, that we can't really tell the difference one thing or another. Fuzzier, huh?
Yeah, fuzzier. That's basically a way to describe that gender identity thing. Seriously.
That's a politically correct word, isn't it?
Well, it's such an undefined term that nobody knows what it is. But in California, you can be arrested for using the wrong pronoun. So
sorry, that hit me in.
Yeah, just crazy stuff. Mark, we're right at the end of the show. I mean,
I knew you'd do that.
But we saved. You got your segment in. I didn't get your segment in, Mark.
Yeah, it's only happened 42 times now, but it's okay.
You got to do Mark at the beginning.
That's good.
I did Mark at the beginning last time to make sure I got him. So
well, let me give you a quick thing about what was it? John 8:51. It says, "Truly, truly, I say to you, the next boy that Dina and I have, I will be naming him Truly, because Yeshua spoke to him more than any of the other disciples." So I believe Yeshua loved Truly more than any of the other disciples. So I think you should name your children, your boys, Truly. Name the first one Truly, and the second one Truly, Truly.
What about Shirley?
No Shirley.
Okay.
Well, I can name any of them because he did actually say, "Surely you understand these things." So, hey.
Truly, 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 and Shirley.
Truly.
Yeah, there you go.
This is my brother. This is my name.
That's right.
Truly. This is my brother, Truly. That's my other brother, Truly.
No, truly, 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 and Shirley.
And Shirley.
That's right.
All right. Okay. Mark, thank you for that great insight into the Brit Hadashah portion of this week's Torah Portion.
Sure, I studied this one out, man. I mean, this is what I did a lot of research on. Yes.
Well, it's very important that you name your children.
That's right.
What you pray about it, and because it's prophetic. And if you
want train them up underneath, let's see. Hey, by the way, the segment of what you just did will be taken out, edited, and put into the HR5 update category on the website. So
you heard it here, folks.
You just did an HR5 update. It may not be up for another couple of days because I'm really busy with another project and I'm way behind on segments because we do have some other segments that need to be up, but I just have not had the time. So, but in a couple of days, we'll edit that out and put it. And probably my Brit Hadashah segment will also be up on the website where you can just watch that individually too. I do Sandy's, but hers were so generic and simple.
Well, I tell you what, I want to say this. I want to give my thanks to both you, Mark and Sandy, for contributing today, for making this edition of Let Us Reason Together a great show. And
everybody for laughing.
Hey, before you go on,
yeah,
the next chapter has a special guest this Thursday.
Tell us about it, Mark.
Well, it's going to challenge your predestination ideas, and to some extent, I mean, I've been discussing this with other people too, and we have a young man by the name of Stone Moss that taught a very good teaching about Hezekiah, and God changed time and it caused things to happen. Were they going to happen anyway, or did they happen because God changed time for Hezekiah? And he's got a very good teaching on that. Sherry won't be there, but Sandy, Joe, and I will also be discussing this with Stone. So that is on the next chapter this Thursday, the 7th of November, and look for times. It's on the same time you're watching this show. It's on Thursday.
Call your friends, call your neighbors, tune in.
That's right.
It'll challenge you.
Yeah, good. And all the shows here on Lamb Network, as you listen to them, and there's things that are points to ponder, things that it's like, that was good. Give us a thumbs up. Give all the different shows a thumbs up. Share them on your social media. Let people know and about what's happening here. Like today, we had a lot of making jokes, making some light humor and that type of thing. We have heavy issues in this life, but we also need an opportunity just to sit back and relax and laugh a little bit as well, and have some good teaching along the way. And that's what we want to bring to you here on Messianic Lamb Radio, at least on the Monday edition of Let Us Reason Together. And so, well, with that said, this has been Sandy. That is Mark. And I am John Craig. So until next time, shalom.
Sure. Oh, play the